If it somehow has escaped your attention, I'm a giant nerd. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video, we are going to be doing my April TBR. Alrighty, before I get into anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what is a funny book you're planning to read this month. Sure, why not? Just came up with that one off the top of my head. So hello again. Can't believe I'm already filming an April TBR. This year is going really weird in a way where it feels like it's very slow and also really, really fast. Per usual, time, she's strange. As we normally do, let's start out by pulling up my TBR jars for the month because I am really looking forward to this. I have a slight TBR going into this month, but really I'm not planning to partake in any readathons or anything at this moment, so I'm thinking this is going to be kind of a random amalgamation month. Let's start off first with a prompt from my digital jar. And as per usual, let's try and get as down the middle as possible. Dang it, that's two. I can't get this one, it's stuck. Ah! Well, nice and easy, basically just an adult book. I can do that, that's super simple. I think actually I'm gonna make this work in my favor and pick a book that I'm supposed to be buddy reading with Ray at the Bookmark Chronicles, which is The Single Dads Club by 𝗖cie bych𝘁𝘁. All right, so it seems like we are following this guy who just recently found out that he is going to be a single dad now and ends up moving to the small town where his grandmother can help him take care of his kid who he just found out exists. Whilst there, he ends up meeting this heiress turned waitress who is doing her best to try and make a new life for herself in which she is a better person. She finds herself smitten with this new single dad as well as his child. She ends up making it her personal mission to get him involved in the Single Dads Club, and doesn't that just sound so adorable? I can't wait to read this one, and this is going to be my first buddy read with Ray, so that'll be a lot of fun. Thankfully, I do know my library has a copy of this one, so bam, right there. Already finished like that one out, plus two birds, one stone. But next, let's do my physical jar. And for this baby, we are gonna get, I did two again, but foiled cover was the one that was on the front. So foiled cover, I just have to find one. I do think I have plenty of options. Okay, that took me an embarrassing long time just because I kind of got decision paralysis from it. But I think I am going to go with 𝗖cie, Where's Your Husband by Lizzie Demello Blackburn. This is a Book of the Month copy, which means it does have this little foiled embellishment, so it'll count. And also, I've just had this on my own shelf for quite some time, and I really need to get better about reading my book of the months. Kind of is forcing me to do that. This was sold to me as like a African Bridget Jones's Diary, and Emily Henry was the one who originally brought this to my attention, and I don't even remember anything else from her blurb, but I do remember that aspect, and then it was Emily Henry, so like of course I'm gonna trust her judgment. Yeah, I don't think I've actually heard many thoughts about this. I think it's more like contemporary, focusing on like 𝗖cie finding herself, but there's also a love triangle that takes place. I don't know, we'll figure out if I like this. This was definitely one that was kind of outside my comfort zone when I picked it, but again, Book of the Month, it's on my shelves, I need to get it read. I have many book clubs I'm planning to partake in this month. Being overambitious, as per usual. First up, I've recently started partaking in some book clubs that are hosted in my area. First one being a romance one where everybody gets a prompt and then like you try and find a book to fulfill the prompt. This month's being a book that has somebody in the medical field, which when I looked up, one that was on my TBR was Two Wrongs Make a Right by 𝗖cie bych𝘁𝘁. I know this one's supposed to be a Shakespeare retelling. Much Ado About Nothing, that's right, if I remember correctly. I think this was about these two people who get set on a blind date with each other, but they do not hit it off. It is quite a terrible date, and yet for some reason they end up like fake dating, possibly. This is me trying out another 𝗖cie bych𝘁𝘁 book, so we'll see how that goes, because fake dating is not my thing, but it does seem like it's, you know, some like animosity to lovers energy, which I do enjoy. Unfortunately, Much Ado About Nothing is not a Shakespeare play I know a ton about, so like that aspect isn't really gonna intrigue me to it. I have no clue, honestly, I have no clue. But it works for this book club, and 𝗖cie bych𝘁𝘁 is an author I've been wanting to check out for quite some time, so bang, doing that. Another local book club I recently joined is a fantasy and sci-fi one, so this month's is a urban fantasy. Same idea, you have a prompt and then you try and find a book for it. So I'm gonna be reading The Extraordinaries by T.J. Klune. Finally! I've been wanting to get to this for so long. It was actually on a 5-star predictions list I made like 2 years ago. I believe superheroes are a real thing in this universe, and our main character has actually written like a lot of fan fiction about one of these superheroes, but then I think eventually he ends up getting his own powers, and you know, meets this hero. I think it has some like discussions around fandom, and I believe the main character also has ADHD, so there's some cool representation there. And then of course there's gonna be like a queer love story. I cannot wait. I've heard a lot of positive things about the series, and I've really been needing to get to it, so I'm finally going to do that. I'm also going to take advantage of the Big Bad Bitches it's like the quadruple B book club. They are going to be reading Mary by Nat Cassidy, which is a horror book that I've really been wanting to get to after hearing all of my favorite horror booktubers praising it. I think this is actually supposed to be like a Carrie retelling, but from the eyes of a woman who is going into menopause. Very interested in this, have heard nothing but positive things. I really want to pick this up, so I'm going to utilize this as an excuse to get it on my TBR sooner. If I can manage, I would love to partake in the Full Moon Book Club, which is hosted by Jane Agaton, and she's going to be reading So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. Honestly, I saw the cover, I heard that it was inspired by Jamaican folklore, and I was like, bang, sign me up. I love it. Obviously, any sort of a retelling is going to work well for me, but then this cover is stunning. Look at this color combination, it's beautiful. All I really know about it is the Jamaican folklore, and then I think it has dragons and like a sisterly bond. A last sister dragon book I read didn't work out great for me. I'll try and find that reading blog and put it up above. Hopefully this one will go a little bit better, and if not, at least I will have fun with the book club. I do have one other book that I need to get read for a video, which is Dead Dead Girls by 𝗖cienih, which is a historical Renaissance, that wasn't right, a Harlem Renaissance mystery series, and I think there's a sapphic romance as well. Unfortunately, our main character ends up having an altercation with a police officer and getting arrested. She is sort of forced into trying to solve the murder of multiple girls, or, you know, end up running in a jail cell. I have heard very mid things about this, but I still want to try it. We're gonna find out how that goes for me. Fingers crossed it'll go well. Of course, I also have to read my Star Wars books for the month, and first off is The High Republic Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, which honestly kind of has a sci-fi horror setup, and I'm really into that. But we are following a Padawan who really doesn't want adventure. He doesn't have an interest in the action elements of being a Jedi. Rather, he wants to stay on Coruscant being basically his historian. However, he doesn't really get a choice when his master calls for him to go to this place on the Outer Rim. But whilst traveling there, he, as well as a few other ships, ends up getting stranded. They end up taking shelter in this abandoned space station, and like some creepy things start taking place. I'm interested, like a sci-fi horror but Star Wars world, sign me up, that sounds like so much fun. Next is The Rising Star by Kevin Scott, which is going to be my second of Scott's work in this universe, and I think possibly going to be a reintroduction of probably not the same character from his previous book, Path of Vengeance, but maybe like a descendant. And the Jedi are faced with another opposing group who frowns upon what the Jedi do with the Force, and that's like all I want to know going into it, but I'm so excited, like you have no idea. I'm so excited to see more of that expanding. If it somehow has escaped your attention, I'm a giant nerd. Finally, I have 3 anticipated releases which are coming out this month that I am so excited to get my hands on. Thankfully, I've been saving up a few bingos so I can go buy those when they release. First off is Sarah Hogel's new book, Old Flames and New Fortunes, which has a little bit of a convoluted setup, but most of her stories tend to have some really ridiculous basis. This one is following a woman who is hoping to purchase the flower shop she works at, and in order to discuss this with the owner of the shop, she ends up getting a wedding invite from him, but she goes along with a fake date, and whilst there ends up running into her ex-boyfriend from when she was younger, who obviously now thinks she is dating this other guy. It sounds like it's gonna be ridiculous, but Sarah Hogel always gives me a good fun time in her stories. Perfect definition of rom-com is her books, so I can't wait to see how this goes. I'm so excited. Then I'm over the moon excited for One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. In this, our main character actually suffers from DID, and years previously, she had a breakdown and ended up losing her job. However, she ends up getting a second chance and finding a new job, but whilst there, the conservationist trust for this place ends up coming to visit, and one of those people is the person who revealed her as having DID in the past, which triggered her breakdown. And when that guy ends up dead, of course, she is the prime suspect. I am so excited for this, especially with how great of a ride When No One Is Watching was. I cannot wait to see what Cole does here. I'm so excited. And then finally, I'm sure everybody knows this one is coming out. Funny Story by Emily Henry will be releasing in April. Like, all I really want to know about this one is that two people's fiancés end up cheating with each other, and the two remaining people end up becoming roommates and slowly start to have feelings for one another, I believe. So basically, they are falling in love with their ex-fiancés' ex-fiancés. I'm so excited for this one. I love Emily Henry's work. Even the ones that I don't adore, I still have a great time reading. But this one, I have very high expectations. Even if the dude is wearing Crocs on the cover. All right, so that is 4 books off of my current owned TBR and probably 3 new books that I will hopefully also be getting read in the same month. Here's hoping I wasn't too overly ambitious with this one, but I'm excited for all of these, so even so, hopefully this will be a fantastic reading month. All right, y'all, so thank you so much for going to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me a leopard emoji in the comments. I have links to all of my socials as well as a few ways you can support me down in the description. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!